Chocobos are an absolute godsend while you're out exploring in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. In fact, you can't reach a lot of places without them, so getting your hands on the lovable bird should be top of your list of priorities when you first step out into Gaia. Now, you might think you've got your lifelong Chocobo once you head to Bill's ranch in the grasslands, but unfortunately, you're gonna need to figure out where to find them in every one of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's regions. This is, thankfully, not much of a chore though, as each new Chocobo to tame offers a new challenge, and they all have their own quirks specifically suited to the region they're in that makes getting around a breeze. It still took us a while to find them though, so we've saved you plenty of time by laying out every single one right here in this video. You're able to ride your very own Chocobo in Rebirth by taming one at a Chocobo Intel location within every new region. Each region has its own specific Chocobo, and you cannot carry one over into the next region, so if you want to get around quickly, it should pretty much be the first thing you do whenever you go somewhere new. Usually, you'll need to complete a bit of a puzzle in order to tame each Chocobo, which typically involves a bit of stealth and some clever smoke and mirrors distraction, and finding the region's Chocobo ranch will usually point you in the right direction, but you can skip that step entirely by sticking with us. First up then, the Grasslands Chocobo location. This is a mandatory story event, so you'll get to it soon after starting Chapter 2 and entering the Grasslands. All you need to do is find Chocobo Bill's ranch, and Billy will set you on the right path to your first Chocobo, Pico. Taming Pico here just takes a bit of stealth and some clever distraction by throwing stones. Just make sure that you sneak past all the other Chocobo in the area, then throw a stone behind Pico to make them turn the other way, and you'll be good to start the taming process. Head back to the ranch after taming Pico, and Billy will let you take the reins. All you need to do now is press R1 to whistle for your bird, and it will appear whenever you want it.
Back to the ranch it is then.
Come on.
Next up, Junon. You'll be able to find Belle, the Junon Chocobo, to the west of Gabe's ranch and just south of the entrance to Under Junon. These Chocobo are capable of climbing up rock faces, which is incredibly handy in Junon's more treacherous terrain. Taming this Chocobo is a little more tricky. You'll need to activate various switches and follow behind the moving minecarts. Just make sure you're always aware of which Chocobo is looking your way and try and use the cart to block their vision. You'll also need to throw the stones carefully onto the switches to activate some of the carts, so it might take a bit of trial and error to get this one right, but if you follow the route we did, you should be set up with your next Chocobo. Moving on, we have the Costa del Sol and North Coral Chocobo. While wheelies are the best way to speed around Costa del Sol's main town, you can also get a Chocobo to help you explore the beaches of Coral and the cliff sides of North Coral just before you head into the Golden Saucer. All you actually need to do is complete Chapter 6, just after Yuffie joins the party, and head to the Rent-A-Bird station just outside of Costa del Sol as you enter the main Coral area. You will need to obtain a Rent-A-Bird membership before you ride, but I managed to get this as part of the Rendezvous in Costa del Sol side quest, so we'd recommend doing that. You'll even get some beach appropriate Chocobo gear too. Next, we have Gonagaga. Much like Costa del Sol, the Gongaga Chocobo is only obtained at the end of Chapter 9 and is a mandatory story element that you cannot miss. Once you've cleared the reactor, Cisne will then give you Fango, who can utilize the region's giant mushrooms to cross long distances, and you'll definitely need them to get anywhere in this dense forest too. It's a maze that is largely unlocked by finding the right fungi to bounce from, so make sure that you make the best of their abilities and get out and explore everywhere you can. Next up, Cosmo Canyon. You can find the Chocobo in Cosmo Canyon just to the north of Camaria's ranch and not too much of a trek from the airstrip. I found taming Apony to be the biggest pain of the lot. It requires really precise movement and a lot of trial and error. Once again, make sure you've always got a minecart between you and the nearest Chocobo, and make sure to use the stones placed near the end to distract them and create some space for yourself. You'll be able to use these Chocobo to soar gracefully through the air and use the many wind terminals in the region to keep yourself airborne, so they're incredibly useful for traversing the canyon, and it absolutely should be your #1 priority when you get here, even more than most. And finally, we have the Nibelheim Chocobo. Thankfully, this Chocobo is super close to the airstrip too, and can be marked on your map as soon as you complete the first tower just down the road. This, unlike many of the other Chocobo taming minigames, requires you to lead our Chocobo Selena through a bit of an obstacle course. Yeah, it's an escort mission of sorts. Sorry about that. Head up the hill to the right of the first 2 Chocobos and pick up all of the Chocobo bait along the edge. You'll want to use this to lead Selena back to the start, but be careful of the expanding cacti as they will both hurt our Chocobo friend and send them running. Once you've guided them back to the entrance, head down the hill again and tame them to claim your very last Chocobo. That done, you'll be able to speed around every region of Gaia and unlock previously inaccessible areas of the map, which means all of Rebirth's secrets will finally be open to you. And there are plenty to discover. Thanks for watching. Drop this video a like if you enjoyed and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more like this. We've got a lot of Final Fantasy VII guides ready and waiting to aid you on your adventure, so stay tuned to GG Recon. And while you're here, YouTube's algorithm is recommending a video just for you, and it knows you're going to like it, so check that out right here.